You got into the safety business because you wanted to protect people, but somewhere along the way, the job started controlling your time, your schedule, your priorities, even your income potential. What if the expertise you've built over the years in the field can give you something more? More freedom, more control, more ownership of your future. I'm Sheldon Primus, the author of 7 Steps to Starting a Profitable Safety Consulting Business and the host of the Safety Consultant Podcast, with more than 350 episodes helping safety professionals become consultants and grow their career. Consulting changed my life. In fact, I'm a full-time RVer, and one consulting contract paid for my home I live in today. Now, I help safety professionals build their own consulting practice through bi-weekly coaching calls, accountability, and personal guidance. But this program isn't for everyone. Start with the Consultant Readiness Audit at sheldon.coach.
What if everything we thought we knew about safety was just interference? From the host of the Rated R Safety Show and the founder of Safety FM comes the complete Signal Transmission Trilogy, now available in one powerful edition. Safety, in my opinion, the book that started the conversation. Safety Mutation, where the boundaries of culture, systems, and belief begin to break. And now, Safety Transmission, the final piece of the signal. For the first time, all 3 books are together in one volume. The Signal Transmission Trilogy, Complete Edition. This isn't just about compliance. It's about consciousness. It's about decoding the way we think, lead, and live, inside and outside the system. Whether you've been following the signal since the beginning or you're just now tuning in, this is the version to own. Search Signal Trilogy on Amazon or visit safetyfm.com to get your copy now.
Hey, this is Sheldon. Just wanted to let you guys know that this is a special episode for not only Mental Health Month, but also it's suicide prevention in this month as well. And for those of you that are in recovery, this is also the month for recovery, and just to get some awareness to those mental health issues. I, myself, have been dealing with recovery for quite a while, and how I express it in this podcast may be news to some of you, and honestly, it was good for me to say. So I just wanted to let you know that this is a different episode, and the reason why I'm sharing this with you in my interview with Rosie, who's been through a bunch herself, and I don't want to give away her story, I want you guys to listen to this one, is we all have to deal with mental health issues and addictions. So therefore, I want to do my part. I want to help you guys out. And this is the month to do it. But don't forget, there's 12 more or 11 more months. 12 months in a year, right? So let's go ahead and remember mental health for those who did not make it, and for those of us who are still doing our best to make sure that we can survive in this world and also live life where we are truly empowered and feeling good about life. So with that, just listen to this episode, and I hope it encourages you as it did me.
Sheldon Primus.
Welcome to the Safety Consultant Show with Sheldon Primus, where we blend safety smarts with business brilliance and a pinch of Sheldon's signature wit. Whether you're a safety pro, a fresh-faced consultant, or just safety curious, get ready for a show that'll educate, entertain, and elevate your safety game. Let's dive into the art of consulting with your safety Sherpa himself, Sheldon Primus.
This episode is powered by Safety FM.
And is powered by some morning coffee. Welcome all to the Safety Consultant Podcast, the show where I teach you the business about being safety consultants. We talk about OSHA stuff sometimes, and we even get some special guests that hang out with me. And today's truly no different because my special guest is the one and only Rosie De Leon Nogueras. Hopefully I said that right, Rosie, because I've never said your full name. For as long as we've known each other, I never said your full name.
Yes, that was perfect.
And she is the host. Yes, nailed it. She is the host of Boogie On Rosie Woman. I love that name as well because I'm a Stevie fan. So when I heard that, I was like, ooh, that is a good name. Welcome to the show, Rosie. How are you?
I am great, Sheldon. Thank you for having me.
I got to get on the board. It was so good that you joined. I really, this week is Mental Health Month, and Sobriety Week month. And I loved your journey, the way you talk about your journey. And I want you, as the audience member, to think about your whole self, like we've talked about before in my podcast. And this is the time to think about your own mental health. And I'm going to do my part to get you guys to think about that stuff because we get burnt out ourselves as the consultants. So we need to also focus on us too. So Rosie's helping me out with that. So Rosie, tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey.
So, I was married for 30 years. I moved from Texas. I was 21. I left my home state and family and friends. I met my ex-husband at work we both worked at a newspaper in San Marcos, Texas. And so I left my small town home. I don't know, at that point in my life, I just felt like I had nothing there in that small town and I just needed to get away. And my ex-husband offered that, as far as when he graduated from college, he was a sports editor and he's a big Reds fan. So I asked the publisher if the company owned any newspapers in Ohio, and they happened to own the Wapakoneta Daily News, who happened to be looking for a sports editor at the time. So he applied for the job and he got it. And 35 years later, I am still here in Wapakoneta, Ohio. And so,
That's
so
I wasn't sure how to say that name and it just flows off your tongue.
Yeah. So, but, my sobriety journey, I guess my relationship with alcohol began when I was a teenager, and I was more of a binge drinker back then. And in my adulthood, is moving to a whole new state, not knowing anyone. The first year was really rough, but we made friends immediately. Some friends from work, they took us in under their wing. They're the ones that taught me how to play poker. So we used to play poker every weekend. Towards like the later in the years, we just started playing every weekend. We would switch houses. We'd play poker. So, and then at that point, of course, alcohol was involved. So I'd drink on the weekends. The ex didn't play too much poker, but he'd go. Then after a while, he just stopped going with all of us. And I don't know. Marriage is, I think, the most hardest thing that a person will ever have to do, I think, in my opinion, because it's if there's no communication in the marriage, I mean, it doesn't go well. But
absolutely.
Yeah. So, I just, my drinking got worse and I just didn't feel the way I was being treated wasn't the way a husband should treat a wife. But, and then because of my drinking, I felt, oh, this is my fault because I'm drinking. I'm drunk. He's not happy with that. But at that point, early in the stages, it was more of a binge drinking for me and just on the weekends. But then as life progressed and things just it wasn't a healthy relationship. So the drinking got worse. The resentment built on his end towards me. Then as life progressed, I started building resentment as well. So And then 6 years ago, it'll be October 13th, 2019, I got my second DUI. And my ex-husband wasn't very happy about that. So that's when, just everything just fell apart. But in that, it was, and I just refer to it as the worst and the best day of my life. The worst day because it was finally, the marriage had come to an end. But I was forced to get sober because, I had to have a breathalyzer on my car. I was on probation for 2 years. I think that's about how long I had that breathalyzer on my car as well. So in that time, getting sober, my mind became clear. And, the way I was being treated, even with showing that I want to get sober, I still want to make this marriage work, which should have ended many years ago. But that was the alcohol. The alcohol made me feel like, okay, I'm drinking. This is my fault. All our problems are my fault because I'm drunk. But that's not what it was. That wasn't the case. It was an unhappy situation that, even though there was, sometimes I would express what I was feeling, and it's like, I don't want to be like this. I don't want to be drinking. And he would comfort me, but it never really went anywhere. So the vicious cycle just continued. But it ended that night when I got my second DUI. So, and I got sober.
That's when it came to a head.
Yeah, and I got sober. And I've always been like a social person. We met, it was about 15, 16 years ago on Twitter. That's how we met. And it was like poker related.
I know.
Yeah, so
absolutely.
So, I had my social media friends and I, chat with everybody. But, I just got sober and I'm like, I can't continue to live this life for this marriage I've been trying to save for 30 years that, I don't know, it was a vicious cycle. But it finally ended. I got sober. I've got a lot of support from people and, people were thanking me for sharing my journey. So I just continued and I built it up to where I'm like 5 years, last year when I hit 5 years sobriety, I'm like, I want to do something to commemorate this moment. So I started a podcast, Boogie On Rosie Woman. And if I can help other people that are going through what I went through, but don't know that you don't have to stay in that situation. You can work it out, try to fix it. And if you can't fix it, there's nothing wrong with moving on and getting your life back. I think my biggest problem was I didn't put me first, and I didn't love myself first. And I was, I think it was in the summer, I was visiting my dad. And he made a comment to me that, it still sticks with me now. And I'm like, you know what? I think he's right. He said I was a people pleaser. And I think I always try to make sure everybody else is, taken care of before me. I wasn't taking care of me first. Once I started taking care of me first, and this is me now 6 years later, living my best life ever. I mean, it wasn't easy.
Yeah.
The first 3 years, it was a struggle going from 2 household incomes to 1. I couldn't have done it without my parents and, my friends and family that were still supportive. But, I wouldn't do it any other way. If this was how it was supposed to go down for me in life, it's probably the best, because had it gone down a different way where if he would have left me instead of me, finally filing for divorce, I think myself, because he had crushed my soul, my spirit, my confidence, he dimmed my bulb, because, I'm a pretty big personality. Yeah. And if it would have gone a different way, maybe my self-confidence, I would have never gotten it back. I think it would have been a whole different direction. I would have gone maybe like a different downward spiral for myself. So I'm glad it went down the way it did. And here I am.
Yeah. No, I think I don't know. I don't want to be metaphysical or spiritual in any way, but it's part of our lives, right? So, I always say, for me, I had a similar journey without the relationship part was solid, but for me, I've struggled with addiction for quite a bit, and I've always had just a feeling of not being enough. And I also, like you, with the people pleasing part, I was trying to always do stuff to fit in, and honestly, it was a game, if you would, where in my brain, if I assimilated to the right person for someone else, then it make me feel good, and that led me truly to try to alter my way of thinking through drugs, and
Yeah.
it never ended up right. So my bottom led me to a halfway house for 6 months and trying to get myself right. And when I
Yeah.
did, I had to reinvent myself after that, because you're left with, who am I? If I'm not this, I'm not this life of the party, and I'm now not, hiding everything with with a substance, then who am I? And trying
Yeah.
to get that journey is always a little tough. And it sounds like you got to where that choice was, or at least the question came up of who am I, and you started to really develop who you are again. Is that fair to say?
Yes, that is fair. Yes. And, because I've always been the person I am today is this is how I've always been. And I mean, I'm still friends with my childhood friends from school. So, and if you ask them, they'll tell you, yeah, I haven't changed a bit. I'm still the same person. And when I go back home to visit my friends, we just pick up right where we left off, laughing. And it's like I stay in contact with my friends, but I see them once a year when I go back home to visit Texas. And it's just like we're back to where we left off. My high school BFFs, we'll go out to dinner and just laugh all day. I mean, so what alcohol did is, when I was drunk, it just enhanced the personality, but it also made the personality not liked by my ex-husband. But yeah, I don't know if I'm going to understand whatever really happened there, as far as why I wasn't enough. Even because, like I mentioned, you and I met like 15 or 16 years ago on Twitter. And I remember that because that's when I had gastric bypass surgery. At my heaviest, I was 325 pounds. And, for health reasons, and also for, maybe when I have the surgery done, lose the weight, my ex-husband will find me attractive, want me or something. So I had the surgery. Yeah. I started looking how I look now. I lost about 100 pounds. I quit drinking for 2 years. I was exercising every day, and that Rosie still wasn't good enough. So my friends started asking me, or, they invited me out to girls' night out. So I started drinking again and gained all the weight back. And I was just set to live this life like this because that is what I saw around me and some other relationships. And I'm like, I guess this is how it's going to be. We're in this for 30 years. I've invested all this time. I'm not going anywhere. But I had that mentality in my head. But I was also, that was still drinking. But once I got sober, I'm like, I can't continue like this. I don't want to drink anymore, but I also don't want to be treated like I'm something you stepped on and you wiped off with your shoe. And that's how I felt. Yeah. So, I broke that cycle.
Yeah, absolutely. And it takes courage to break that cycle and choose you.
Yeah, it does.
And it sounds like your friends and your relationship with your music, Phish, And I know that you're such a huge fan, and you've attributed, seeing Trey Anastasio. I keep messing up his name, but his own journey into sobriety, and how that was a force to help you not only like the band, but then also gave you some encouragement that you could do it too. So that's awesome. Tell us about how you use different tools to to find yourself again.
Yeah, so Phish, I've been a Phish fan for 29 years now, and I didn't realize what a great positive, what positivity they supply to the community. It's called the Yellow Balloon Groups, and Phish has, their table is called the Fellowship Table, and they have a table set up at shows, and it's where the sober Phish community can come, say hello, they need any help, or talk to anybody before the show. You can come say hi at the table, and at set break, they have a meeting. They're not affiliated with AA or any 12-step programs. They just provide a sober place for sober Phish fans. And I discovered that group in my early sobriety, and with Trey's journey, and I don't know, he's just always smiling, and I think his happiness is infectious. So when I see him, it just makes me smile. And their music, when I'm at a show, I'm at my happy place. So I just let myself go and just surrender to the flow, listen to the music, and enjoy those couple of hours of listening to my favorite band, surrounded by my friends, dancing. And, it's because of that community that I am where I am now. Because I don't know, I was seeing a therapist after my DUI, to show that I want to change. I don't want to be like this anymore. And I, discovered the fellowship, and they have the Lady Fells also, which I still do Zoom meetings on Sundays. And I don't know, if I hadn't found this community, I don't know where I would have gone for help, because I went to an AA meeting here in Wapakoneta, but it was like, there's not very many, maybe like in a bigger city farther away, the meetings would be bigger, but there was only like 2 or 3 people, and they were like very, very old, and that just wasn't for me. But I found the other support. There's other support groups out there, and I found that. So, and I'm grateful to them.
That's awesome. And was that where you got your Phish chicks, and you got Ian and Mike helping you out, and of course Sal, your son, and honestly, I guess the whole group there is probably your core group, right?
Yeah, they are, and and they're all people that I've met through Phish, they recognize me from social media, so if we Phish people, if you see somebody out on the street, in the real world, whatever, they're wearing anything Phish, you're like, that's family right there. So, you've got that instant connection. So you just say hi, and boom, a conversation envelops.
Yeah, that's like me and my wife and I. We're both huge Dave Matthews Band fans, and we've been to a bunch of concerts. And I remember one time, we were signing into. We're full-time RVers, of course, and you know that. But we were signing into one of these RV communities that we decided to just go, and we just saw one of the ladies had Dave has this fire dancer that he's made, and he's an artist as well. And we saw her with the fire dancer tattoo, and I mentioned that, and I was like, yeah, we're big fans, and we've gone to at that time it was like 5 or 6 concerts, or no, actually like 4 or 5 concerts. And she's like shaking her head. She goes, oh man, she says, oh, that's good, I've been to 82 concerts. I was like, what? And she knew that she only heard 3 songs, or didn't hear 3 songs live that they've ever done. She's heard them all except for 3 songs that they didn't do live. And then I thought, all right, I'm a fan, but she was like way up there. And I love DMB, but oh my goodness, I don't know how you get the bandwidth to, go and see the band in so many places. But I know you did a summer tour, and you followed the band, what 3 shows or something this summer? Are you at that level of fandom?
I did it. Well, it started in spring tour, because last year there were rumors that Phish was going to play the Hollywood Bowl. And I'm like, oh, cool. Vacation starts over next year. I'm going to hold on to those rumored dates. And they did play. And I have and I don't know if you know Rachel from Twitter. She was one of my followers back then also, but she wasn't a poker player. She was Licorice Tree on Twitter, but she lives out in California, and I'm still friends with her. It's like 15 years later too. I'm still friends with all these people I met on Twitter. And so I'm like, I texted her and I'm like, Rachel, Phish is coming to your town. You want to go? Because she's never been to Phish. So I'm like, you want to go? And she's like, sure. So we did the 3 nights at the Hollywood Bowl, and she's lived in California for about, I think, maybe 20 to 24 years. And she has never been to the Hollywood Bowl, and she's like an hour away. And she had never been to a Phish show. So we went on the 3-night run.
I have never been.
Oh, we got to get you to, if you like DMB, you'll like Phish. So, and I've never seen DMB. So
that's a good trade-off.
We do a DMB show, and I'll take you to a Phish show.
That's a great trade. I can't trade off.
Yeah.
What happened to my lips? I would love to do that. And then I could go out there and give Trey a Trey hey.
Hell yeah. Trey, hey, yes. So Trey, so I went to did the 3-night Hollywood Bowl run, and then I did Trey did an acoustic tour also earlier in the year. So he was in Columbus, and my friend Mary was working some of the tables also. So I'm like, she was going on to Wisconsin. So I'm just like, so let's coordinate this where we just go on this 4-day, 4-show, 4-state run together. And we did that. So we started off in Columbus, which is like an hour and a half east of me. And from Columbus, we went to Madison, Wisconsin. And then after Madison, we went to Brown County, Indiana. And then my final show was in Chicago. And let me tell you, a tour is hard. I don't know. It's like when you have to drive yourself and, it's from one show to the next, the venue. We had to, get up early to get from Wisconsin to Indiana and spent the whole day driving. And Mary and I, in the Indiana show, I worked the Divided Sky table, which Divided Sky is a recovery center that Trey started. I think it'll be 2 years old this year, I believe. And it's a facility in Ludlow, Vermont, where, people can, if you need help in recovery or you can find this place, and they offer scholarships for people if you can't afford it. And it's a nonprofit. And, you do pay to go there, but they also offer scholarships, and it's a great source for help in the sober community.
Oh man, that's awesome that they do that. I mean, Rosie, that's rare, I think, as far as bands. I think that's truly rare that they have such an outreach and make sure they have a safe place for their fans when they come see them. That's pretty awesome. And I know everybody listening, you're listening to a lot different from what I normally do. But honestly, I think this conversation is, I'm just hoping that you get out of it. You don't always have to think about work. You got to think about yourself. You got to do what you can to keep yourself healthy. And
yes.
I forgot to tell you. Have you ever heard of a band named Oysterhead?
I have.
What?
Yes.
You have? All right. You're a fan.
I think I might know somebody that's in that band.
Yes. So for those of you that do not know, Oysterhead is a supergroup that was made up of Trey Anastasio from Phish, Les Claypool from Primus, and Stuart Copeland from The Police. And they're just a jam band that got together 1 year and just kind of hung out, and they were going to do a tour, and then the pandemic hit. Yeah, that would have been awesome. But they also have an album out there called The Grand Pecking Order, which if you were to get the album, it's roughly about $150 to $300 for actual album LP, old school. And I've been looking for that every town we go to. I keep looking for it because I want to own a copy of that. They only did one pressing, and that's it. So I need it. So anybody that knows how to get Grand Pecking Order by Oysterhead, send me a message. Sheldon at SheldonPrimus.com.
I'm going to have to remember that next time I go thrifting.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Put a bolo out.
I don't want to pass. I don't want to pass up the opportunity to ask you about fashion, ask you about the Reds, ask you about Bootsy Collins and that picture that you got that I'm so envious of you meeting Bootsy. So tell us a little bit about all that stuff, because Bootsy and you were like this. If you guys don't know, the great bassist Bootsy Collins from Parliament and a few other stuff later on, but he has a very just a great style and fashion, and he even got these star glasses that he used to wear playing bass. And Rosie's got a picture of him, hugging on her, and you looked awesome as well. So tell us about how you met Bootsy.
Oh, thank you. Oh, that's Bootsy. So you mentioned I'm a Reds fan, so I moved from my home state to live in Ohio because we wanted to go see Reds games. And, 35 years later, I'm still a huge Reds fan and go to a lot of games. And I'm a Rosie Reds member. And Rosie Reds is a group that was started in 1964. And it's mostly to support the Reds when I think that was it was time during the war or whatever, to get fans out there and stimulate interest in the Reds. And I joined. And they're in the parade every year. So I've been in the parade for, 30 years now. And one year in the parade, I was just walking around. The fun thing about the parade is we always get there early the morning of, because it's fun to see everybody fill into Findlay Market where the parade begins. And you also see everybody else that's in the parade walking around, like Anthony Munoz, former Hall of Famer, Bengals great. We see him every year at the parade. So he's seen us, for the last 30 years at the parade. So he's seen Salvador grow. So, and he recognizes us now. So he's like, hey, we see him. I'm like, hey, Anthony. He's like, hey, how are you guys doing? And so that's great. But Bootsy, and I didn't know Bootsy was in the parade. And this was, I think when I got my picture with him, this was maybe 10 or 12 years ago. I was hurrying back to our float, and I was walking down the street. I was going one way. Bootsy was coming the other way with Patty, and I was walking, hurrying. I'm like, look to my left. I'm like, wait a minute. Was that just Bootsy Collins? And I stopped, turned around, chased them down, and I'm like, I'm not really into running, but I'm like, can I get a picture with you? And they were in a rush too to get to their float, and they were very nice and accommodating, and took the picture real quick. So for the last 12 years, I've been trying to find Bootsy at the parade to get my picture autographed. Well, last year I think I went and I couldn't find him, and I have to be on my float, by 11:30, because then they close up the gate, or I'm stuck. I'm not going to be in the parade. But this year I'm like, nope. This year I found where his float is. I'm going to get that picture signed. But so I was standing there waiting. I finally found his float with King, Records. And his family was standing out there, and I saw Patty. She was standing there. She's so beautiful. Oh my gosh. And I was standing there in my Rosie garb, my Rosie wig, and all baseballed out. So it was getting time to close to where the parade was going to start. And I don't know, we just started talking. And then I asked her, I said, when's Bootsy going to get here? And she's like, oh, well, he's not going to make it because he's got a record dropping, with Buckethead. I don't know if you've... I don't know if it's called Funk Not Fight, or they have a song called Funk Not Fight. And so we started talking, and I asked her, are you his wife? And, she said yes. And she asked if she could take a picture with me. And I'm like, sure. I mean, I get that a lot. People always ask, can I get a picture? I was like, sure. So then, I told her my story, and when opening day comes around, I always change my profile picture to me in that Bootsy picture. So I showed that to her and was telling her the story. And then she's like, say that story again, but I'm going to record you now for Bootsy so she could show him later. I'm like, okay. So I'm rambling and repeating the story. And, I was telling her about my podcast, and she's like, oh, she's going to have a podcast. She's like, you come on will you come on my podcast and I'll come on your podcast? And I'm like, yes. So that's still in the works.
Yeah,
I'm still working on that. They're very busy, but so anyway, I finally got my picture signed. I got my picture signed a couple of months ago. They had a fundraiser in Cincinnati at Ludlow Garage, and Patty got us tickets, and we were there. And I just couldn't believe I was, in the same space with Bootsy and Patty and all. It was just amazing. But I got my picture signed. It was a nice evening because we were just there, and the space was small, so we got to move around and interact with them a lot. And I got Bootsy signed my picture, and I didn't even ask him. He personalized it. I'm just like, Bootsy knows my name. So, but I'm hoping to still have Patty on my podcast. I'm working on some. I've commissioned this celebrity stylist, Jacqueline Rizak, out of California. I think that's right. She's making some his and her custom sunnies for me to present to Bootsy and Patty. So when I'm ready to get that podcast lined up, I'm like, and I've got these for you. So that'll be my in.
Oh, but awesome.
Yeah. So that's my Bootsy story.
That's awesome. When you're in the right place at the right time, that just means that, the universe is smiling on your decisions, right? And
yes.
When you truly walk in what your purpose is, things happen for you. And I think hopefully you guys are going to take that with you after you've been listening to this episode to honestly take a chance on yourself. And you don't know what you're going to, or who you're going to end up meeting, or where you're going to end up being. It's going to work out. It is really going to work out. Yeah, that's awesome. I know we didn't do any poker, but go ahead. Tell me.
I mentioned the Reds last year. As being a Rosie Reds member, they formed the Rosie Reds Singers last year, and every year there's a Rosie Reds Day. So last year for Rosie Reds Day, we sang the national anthem at the Reds game. So that's something I never even had in my mind to do. It's like sing the national anthem at a Major League Baseball game. And it was amazing.
Yeah.
So we're doing it again this year, September 24th. So, and we also got to sing. Yeah. No, it's not opening. It's just yeah. So I've got a few of my Phish friends lined up, and they're going to show up and support, and we're going to sing the national anthem again.
Oh, that's awesome. And I know that at the time of this recording, we're in September, and my Mets just beat your Rays last night. I thought they were going to come back. I was like, come on, Mets, stay with it. And they got them by 1 point. It was close too. So, and I talked to Alex yesterday, and I said, he's like, let's go Mets. I was like, we beat Rosie's Reds. And if you guys don't remember Alex Althred, he's my episode 155. I'm on episode 2 or 325 right now. So go back to episode 155, and you'll hear Alex, the poker pro, talk to us a little bit about decision making and instructional design work and a few other things that he does. So go ahead, and that's the group that Rosie was talking about from the old school Twitter. We just were all poker buddies and ended up keeping friendship for 15 years. Yeah,
can you believe that? And that. Speaking of that, you remember Rosie? I call her Italian Rosie G.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, the runner.
So next year she's turning 30. Wink, wink. So we're going to Vegas. Listen, save June 6th through the 9th, because we're going to be celebrating Rosie's 60th in Vegas.
All right.
I know Alex is out there already. I'm like, maybe he can give us some poker lessons.
Yeah, absolutely. I just was there to see Lenny Kravitz and Shin Lim, and we could not coordinate because I had to do some RV work. So we were trying to, but I wouldn't have enough time to see it. But I wrote that one down, June 6th through the 9th, and
Yes.
we'll have some fun.
And
So,
and that's
uh,
yeah, Rosie
good.
told me to save those dates like about a month or two ago, and then my high school 40th year reunion is next year, and they had a different date, but then I guess they locked down a new date, which is June 6th, and it is actually the day that we actually did graduate 40 years ago next year. But I'm like, sorry, I'm already booked that day. Can't make it.
That's right. And, Texas in June. Yeah, I don't know. That's just about as Vegas in June. It's
Yeah,
pretty
probably.
odd.
I was just there in Texas in June, and it is hot.
It
Like
is. It's
I had
crazy.
this
And
vest that it was like an ice pack vest. You freeze some ice packs, and then it's got pockets. I wore that when
yeah,
I was in Texas. I'm like, damn, I needed this.
yeah, I just got turned on to that by some of my students. A couple of those vests that they use for safety to keep the workers really, cool as they're doing their work. So I was like, might have to get a couple of those for my wife and I for hiking.
Oh yeah.
We like. So that's a good idea. Um, Before we go, I want to get you the opportunity to, tell us anything that you want, regarding, your personal self-help journey and how, well, you told us the journey, but the outcome, like, was it worth it? And then also, let us know how to find you and the podcast and everything. So was it worth it? And give us some idea of how to reach out to you again.
It was absolutely worth it. I think the struggle with alcohol for so many years, there were obviously other factors that alcohol was how I took care of my loneliness and my sadness. I found my source of, I don't know, any stimulant gives you feel, different, and you feel lighter or whatever. It takes you whatever journey you go on with the stimulant. But alcohol was how I numbed my loneliness and sadness and pain. But now that I no longer have those things in my life, I don't need alcohol. I'm just living my best life ever now it's great, but 6 years ago, it wasn't so great. It was awful. I didn't want to be here anymore. I'm still here because of my son. But the struggle was real. Going through it financially, all the costs, getting a lawyer, having to have a breathalyzer on your car for 2 years, you have to pay monthly for that. And, financially it was rough. The first 3 years were really hard, but I stayed positive. I've always had a positive attitude. And, people ask me, how do you stay so positive? I'm like, because the alternative takes you down a different path. And if I stay positive, tomorrow is a new day. What happened today might not have been the best thing, but I've been through worse, and I'll make it. I'll get through it because tomorrow is a new day. And with that mentality, it's like, thank God I didn't freak the fuck out. Sorry for cursing.
That's right.
Sorry I didn't freak out because of what happened this day, but today is different. And what happened yesterday is, it's in the past. I got through it, and I'm going to get through it just day by day. So that's just the mentality I keep. And, I know some people, if you don't know where to find help, there is help. Find a group, find a support group, find, Alcoholics Anonymous. I found the fellowship. I found a sober community. Find your people, get out of the place where you're at. You can get out of there, and you can start your life over. And, that is what I did. And I'm happy. I'm enjoying my life. I still financially, it's a struggle, but who doesn't struggle financially? But you just have to, I can't continue to worry about how things are going to go or whatever. I got to move on. Just if something comes up, find a solution. I've got a great support system. My dad is a great help for me. My sister and her kids, my son, Salvador, of course, he's my rock. My former stepmother-in-law, who I'm still extremely close with, Cindy. I love her. She's been great for me also. She's been so supportive. I'm lucky and I'm blessed. And I just continue day by day. I have friends like you that I've had for years. And, I love your smile. Look, there it is. And I get to see, all my friends and family enjoying life. And if I can help anyone with my story, that, what I was going through, I didn't know that, like I said, my ex-husband was the first person that I ever, that was my first person I ever dated, my first boyfriend. And I have an episode on my podcast, Boogie On Rosie Woman, where I talked to Stephanie McPhail, and she's an author that wrote a book that, about toxic relationships. And, back then, red flags, I didn't know red flags. I didn't know what to look for. I didn't know anything. But now I know a lot more. And by sharing, I hope that I can help someone that was in my situation, that, there is help. There's nothing wrong with you. I always thought something was wrong with me, but no, there's nothing wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with you. You can get help. Get out of the situation you're in. If you don't want to be like that anymore, you don't have to. I don't want to be an alcoholic anymore. I'm not. So, and October 13th, next month, I'm going to be 6 years sober. So I'm excited about that. But you can find me on my podcast that will be 1 year old, October 13th, Boogie On Rosie Woman. And on Instagram, Rosie Red 20, you can see all of my adventures and my pictures and my fashion. So we didn't talk about my fashion. So
a lot of fashion.
I have to thank Amazon for that. A couple of years ago, I got an email asking me if I'd like to be an Amazon Vine member. And I'm like, what's this? I didn't pay attention to it. So I looked at it again and I'm like, wait a minute, I'm going to get stuff to review and I get to keep it? Well, sign me up. So that is how I have amassed a large wardrobe, and I think I've got over 300 pair of shoes. I've got several walk-in closets in my house, and I have not repeated a look in over a year. Thank you, Amazon. So,
well, tell everybody the Instagram so they can see it, because honestly, gang, you got to see her fashion. It is awesome. It'll put a smile on your face every time you see it. So tell everybody your Amazon again.
Yes. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, it's
Instagram. Tell them your Instagram again.
My Instagram, Rosie Red 20.
Rosie Red 20. It is awesome. Just truly seeing the different outfits and seeing. I actually love the wig for the Rosie Red wigs.
That was from Amazon. That was an item I reviewed for Amazon, and it was actually all green. I wore it to, we went to Chicago a couple of years ago to see the river get dyed green, because that was something we had wanted to do. I'm like, well, I'm wearing this wig. So after St. Patrick's Day, I'm like, well, what am I going to do with this wig now? And I'm like, oh, I'm going to spray paint it black and spray paint the bow red. So that's how that wig came about. Yes.
I'm telling you, you're sending smiles to everybody. It's truly, truly awesome.
Thank you.
I'm so glad we did this. Thank you so much for being part of the show.
Thank you so much for having me. And I'll have to have you on my show.
Sold. I will be there. Thanks, Rosie, everybody. Yeah. See, they love you. And everyone else listening to the podcast, thank you so much for hanging out with us. You guys can do it. Truly, truly, truly. Don't think about work all the time. If you're in active addiction right now, it's going to affect your business. It's going to affect the way you relate to your clients. You'll end up being late. You're not going to do your project right. All that stuff is going to add up. And then the feeling you get after you use when you kind of sober up, that's not even going to be worth it for yourself either. So, avoid it altogether by truly investing in yourself. Find your people. Rosie told us to find our people. That's what I'm telling you here. Find your people. Find your support group that's going to help you through this. I promise you'll be better on the other side. So with that, I will see you guys, and we are going to sign off for the day. Go get them.
That's a wrap for today's safety show. Remember, safety isn't just about hard hats and caution signs. It's about business smarts too. Thanks for joining us on the Safety Consultant Show with Sheldon Primus. Until next time, stay safe, stay savvy, and keep consulting like a boss. Go get 'em. The views and opinions expressed on this podcast or broadcast are those of the host and its guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within the past hour, only examples. It should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the positions of the company. No part of this podcast or broadcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast or broadcast, Sheldon Primus.
This episode has been powered by Safety FM.
You got into the safety business because you wanted to protect people, but somewhere along the way, the job started controlling your time, your schedule, your priorities, even your income potential. What if the expertise you've built over the years in the field can give you something more? More freedom, more control, more ownership of your future. I'm Sheldon Primus, the author of 7 Steps to Starting a Profitable Safety Consulting Business and the host of the Safety Consultant Podcast, with more than 350 episodes helping safety professionals become consultants and grow their career. Consulting changed my life. In fact, I'm a full-time RVer, and 1 consulting contract paid for my home I live in today. Now, I help safety professionals build their own consulting practice through bi-weekly coaching calls, accountability, and personal guidance. But this program isn't for everyone. Start with the Consultant Readiness Audit at sheldon.coach.
What if everything we thought we knew about safety was just interference? From the host of the Rated R Safety Show and the founder of Safety FM comes the complete Signal Transmission Trilogy, now available in one powerful edition. Safety, in my opinion, the book that started the conversation. Safety Mutation, where the boundaries of culture, systems, and belief begin to break. And now, Safety Transmission, the final piece of the signal. For the first time, all 3 books are together in one volume. The Signal Transmission Trilogy, Complete Edition. This isn't just about compliance. It's about consciousness. It's about decoding the way we think, lead, and live, inside and outside the system. Whether you've been following the signal since the beginning or you're just now tuning in, this is the version to own. Search Signal Trilogy on Amazon or visit safetyfm.com to get your copy now.